for inviting me to share some thoughts on this panel today, and for the previous panellists for their very insightful speeches. And this is a very interesting question because ever since I was a young child, I've had an interest in countries and capital cities and how different countries interact. And one of my favourite places to read about was the former Yugoslavia, especially Kosovo with its disputed country status. This intrigued me to learn more. Let me take you back to 1980 and the death of the long-serving, brutal Yugoslav dictator, Tito. An economic crisis triggered ethnic tensions between the Kosovar Serbs and Kosovar Albanian populations, and, as an Albanian majority region, Kosovo had any nationalism quelled by the secret police. This, with the revoking of Kosovar autonomy in 1989 by President Milosevic, led to the formation of the Kosovo Liberation Army in 1993. This escalated into full-scale war in early 1998, which lasted around 470 days until the Kumanovo Agreement was ratified. Peaceful nationalist views were still prevalent in society, and eventually the Assembly of Kosovo declared independence on the 17th of February 2008, a move which was deemed legal by the International Court of Justice, the ICJ. Throughout the war, brutal human rights violations were widespread across ethnic and gender lines, and Albanian Kosovar women suffered greatly under a regime of systematic rape conducted by the Yugoslav military. Human Rights Watch stated in their report on violence in 2000 that there were 96 reported cases of rape against these women, but a World Health Organization report in 2000 estimated that up to 20,000 women had fallen victim to rape under control of Serb forces. That's everyone in this room over 600 times. Centres were set up across Kosovo to conduct the raping and killing of Kosovar Albanians in an attempt to ethnically cleanse Kosovo. This use of rape as an intentional tactic violates the Geneva Convention indiscriminately and is one of the most horrendous examples of rape being used as a weapon of war. There have been improvements. So in 2017, the Assembly of Kosovo allocated a budget to go towards these rape survivors, following leaps made by the government of Hatifete Yahyaga in 2014 towards the legal recognition of these victims. And as Delilah and Sophia mentioned earlier, the UN Security Council adopted Resolution 1325 in October 2000, helping to enshrine women's rights in international law and making sure to enforce women's rights in conflict and post-conflict situations using the UN. There are still some obstacles for both sides to overcome to create lasting and sustainable peace. Since Kosovo is only recognised by 103 UN member states, that's 53% of them, it is difficult for any international courts to preside over their domestic court system. They are one of 3 countries in Europe not presided over by the Council of Europe or the European Court of Human Rights, the ECHR, the others being Belarus and the Vatican. This makes it difficult for Kosovar civil society to take cases above their own law, paving the way for corruption and mismanagement of war criminal proceedings in the ECHR and Kosovo's courts. And because the ICJ and the International Criminal Court, the ICC, are not open for civilian cases, Kosovar citizens can't go to any higher judicial body for help. Their limited recognition also means they can't become a full UN member, reducing the impact of Resolution 1325. At this 72nd session of CEDAW, as we heard from Zarin earlier, Serbia is being questioned on their track record on women's rights over the last 4 years. Today, Serbia's rejection of Kosovar independence is endangering Kosovar women and threatens to repeat the atrocities seen 20 years ago. Kosovo needs full access to the Council of Europe and the ECHR to allow for a less corrupt system for everyone in Serbia and Kosovo, where Kosovar civil society can fight for their rights and justly convict war criminals. Kosovo should also be given access to full membership of the UN, with access to entities such as CEDAW and the Human Rights Council. And in answer to your question, the presence of international judicial bodies and courts is vital to the maintaining of basic women's rights in war. everyone's rights, no matter your gender, nationality, race or sexuality, must be upheld with dignity and liberty. And the best way to protect women in war is by having safeguards in place to stop atrocities before they even start. And, as we heard from Agnieszka earlier, inclusion is one of the main factors to effect